Good morning and welcome to Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation. And I'm glad to see all of you who decided to arrive before coffee hour. So a nod to the time change. It's another beautiful Sunday morning, and our musical introduction has been delayed because Lily Popova is stuck on traffic on the 10. It's a sad event. Announcements. Please read the Thursday announcements that are emailed. It's important. Today, there's a Justice Committee meeting this afternoon. Contact Janine Little for Zoom information. It's being rescheduled to this weekend, to this Sunday, because of Reverend Maggie's installation next Sunday. So as we prepare for a great week of busy in preparation. Other events, Spirit Level Grant. We are approaching $3,500 needed. We're up over almost to 9,000. So as you can, when you pay your pledge, add a tad bit extra, and let's get up to the 12,500 and get our technology upgraded. If you want to review our Sunday services, they are on YouTube. If you do a search for Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation, you will find our services. And unfortunately, most of them seem to start with me standing here, which is a sad thing. Ari, this Sunday for the kids, will be discussing St. Patrick, because Thursday is St. Patrick's Day. And the conversation will be interesting because our kids are awesome. And Maggie, would you like to come up and give us a brief introduction or announcement?
Good morning, everyone. And good morning to all of our folks joining us from our Zoom sanctuary. We're really grateful for the connection that you've made to be with us this morning. These days have asked too much of us. And this week has asked much of us as well. I do have some sad news to share with the congregation. So for those of you that are here in the sanctuary, I will be inviting you to participate with me in a little ceremony, a little ritual. But the news that I have to share is that our beloved member, Nancy Rutherford, died this week. It was Wednesday morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning, that she died. I had been visiting with Nancy many times while her body was slowly failing her. And to have visited with her the day before she died was a very special time, but I still had no idea that when Wednesday morning came, I would have that news. We will put a memorial service together for Nancy and have the opportunity to share our fondest memories of her. And we'll be working that and putting that together in the weeks ahead. And we'll be making announcements about when we can hold that. But I know that her family is grateful that we have that plan because they do live in, she has a sister-in-law in Austin, Texas, who was here to see her, and also a niece who lives in Montana, who was also here. I'm just very moved by the experience and the opportunity to have been able to be with Nancy and to have the conversations that we had near the end of her life. Rest knowing that it was peaceful, and we could say more in the future. I just wanted to make sure that all of you knew. Thank you. So I welcome you to our Sunday service. Welcome into this circle of caring, this beautiful sanctuary that we fondly know as our spiritual home, this sacred place where our shared liberal faith is formed and lived out from our sources and our principles. So as we come together this morning, we offer each other a warm welcome. To you who come in need of healing and you who carry pain, we welcome you too. You with your joys and your wonderings, we welcome your gift of hope and your need to hope. Instead of answers, here may you find a safe place for your questions. And instead of promises, may you find community in the struggles. May we always be known as kind people with hands and hearts that are ready to help in our shared engagement of the challenges and the changes of this day. It is our tradition at Monte Vista UU congregation that we open our service with an in-gathering where we sound the bowl 3 times, once for those who came before. The Tongva peoples, who were the original stewards of this land and called it home long ago. We also honor our ancestors and our founding members who imagined and planted this thriving congregation over 70 years ago. Once for those of us here and now. For our members, friends, visitors, our staff, and our extended UU family who hold, care, and grow this beloved community that we know as our own. And once for those who will come. For those who will come to find belonging with us and call MVUUC their spiritual home in the days ahead. I invite everyone who is with us online, and also those of you in the sanctuary, if you would stand and we will sing together our opening hymn, Spirit of Life, number 123 in the hymnal. We'll sing the first verse in English and then in Spanish. Lily, might I ask you if you would light our chalice for us today? It's behind you over there. Yep, we are moving things around. We are movers and shakers here. Yeah. The one for the children is now a little switch underneath. It's a battery one. Not yet. Just the little children's, the Coconut Chalice. That was made by the Kalapayan congregation's youth, for our youth. Our words are our time together in worship is woven and rooted into the daily lives that we share. And as a symbol of that connection, we light our chalices with the flame that reflects for us the light that guides us home, the warmth of our community and the comfort of all of our connections. May this flame ignite our curiosity as we continue seeking our heart's true nature and the kinship that we share with one another and with all things. We light 2 chalices this morning, one for this sanctuary and one that was created as a gift by the Kalapayan youth in our partnership church in the Philippines for our RE program. I invite everyone to join in the speaking of our covenant. The words will be up on the screen. Thank you, Lily, for your good work for us. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve the world in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. And I invite Robert Tidwell, our Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration, to come and read us our wisdom tale for today.
Good morning, everybody. Today's story is called The Almond Tree. Talia's face was like a complicated map, full of ridges and wrinkles. Her back was bent over, and when she walked, she shuffled. Still, she had a twinkle in her eye, and she always had a kind word for her neighbors, her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren. She spent most of her days in her rocking chair, looking out over her garden. If she had a visitor, she'd share memories of the good old days. When she was alone, she'd remember to herself. Now and then, she'd hum a little or wiggle her fingers. It was during one of these mornings alone that Talia surprised herself by coming up with an ambitious decision. She made a phone call. A few hours later, when the doorbell rang, the delivery man was patient while she slowly shuffled her way to the door. She directed him to carry the very tall, skinny parcel he had brought to a bare corner of the garden. He kindly helped her find the garden spade and pull a lawn chair over. Then she paid him and waved him off. Slowly, very slowly, she dug a big hole in the ground. It was hard work. Now and then she'd sit on the lawn chair to take a break, but she got back up several times until eventually the hole was just the right size. Slowly, very slowly, she shuffled and rotated the bottom of the tall, skinny parcel into the hole. Kerplunk. She sat back down to inspect it and was satisfied. Slowly, very slowly, she began to push the dirt back into the hole around the bottom of the parcel. That, too, was hard work. Over and over, when she got tired, she sat down on the lawn chair to take a break, and then she got back up, and finally, she was finished. She unwrapped that tall, skinny parcel, and there it was. You probably guessed it, a beautiful sapling. She sat down once again to admire it. About then, her neighbor arrived home and poked her head over the fence. She looked alarmed and said, "Talia, you be careful. What are you doing? Planting a tree? Ridiculous. Someone your age? Is it an almond tree? It won't produce almonds for years." Talia laughed as she pointed at a very old tree in the opposite corner of her garden. Some of its branches were breaking off, and others were bent with age. Most of them were bare, even though it was the middle of spring. She said, "I'm like that old almond tree. My great-grandmother planted it. I loved to climb it when I was a little girl. Its branches were broad and strong. I felt safe there. Then, when I was a young woman, I picked some of its delicious pink blossom and decorated my hair with it. I think that's how my husband came to notice me." The neighbor began to smile. As usual, there was no stopping Talia in her story. "When I was a mother, I picked the almonds, roasted them to perfection, and served them to my family. When I was a grandmother, I rested in the shade of the almond tree. Now I am a great-grandmother." Talia was very dreamy as she continued. "I have lots of time on my hands. I sit and I remember as I look out my window. Mostly, I am happy with my life. But a little while ago, as I sat looking into my garden, I realized that I had never planted a tree. Never. It just didn't seem right. I have great-grandchildren." "Great-grandchildren?" asked the neighbor. Talia exclaimed, "Yes, and they need an almond tree." "Of course," laughed the neighbor, as she pledged to herself to do something for her great-grandchildren too, even though she didn't have any yet. "I wonder what that will be. Perhaps she will plant a tree. What do you think?" And as for Talia, after planting the tree, she returned to her rocking chair to look out of her window and smile.
Thanks, Robert. You want to take the chalice for the children that greet you? This would be the time in our order of service where we sing out our children, but they'll all be joining online today. So we don't have any here in the sanctuary, but we'll sing Robert out. Yeah. Happy trails to you. Yeah. Yeah. There's an offering message on our UUA website that's written by Reverend John Saxon that he titled "Oil in the Chalice." He writes, "The light of our chalice would soon flicker and die without the oil that nourishes its flame. And just as this flame cannot burn without oil, this community cannot thrive without the financial and personal support of its members and friends. The offerings that we bring are the oil that keeps the flame of our faith alive, and it fuels the shared mission and ministry of this, our beloved congregation. So let us now give freely and generously an offering to sustain and strengthen our shared religious community, a community of memory, hope, faith, and love. For we are now the keepers of its flame that burns for justice, its dream of beloved community, and its vision of a world made whole. I invite you to take this time to make an offering online or bring your gifts forward to the altar and leave a gift in the yellow cloth basket, or any non-perishable donations that you might have for the Beta Center at Inland Valley Hope Partners. And it is with our generous hearts that our offering will now be gratefully given and received. Thank you so much. We take time every week to share the things of our lives, the joys, the sorrows, the delights, and the disappointments, and some things that are both, right? We have a note from Debbie Skirdo, who is very grateful for the folks that came yesterday and did a little groundskeeping at our work party yesterday. Yeah, the sore muscles feel really good when you do things like this. But Debbie says, "Thanks to all who came yesterday to spruce up our front and our patio garden. It looks wonderful." And boy, it sure does. I hope you take some time to enjoy the garden, and actually out front too. There was a lot of work done yesterday. So thank you to everybody that came. And for those who have tuned in maybe a little late, you missed the earlier announcement that our beloved Nancy Rutherford has died. We have lost a member of our congregation this week, Wednesday morning, early in the morning, about 4 o'clock, she passed away. And while it is always too soon for Nancy, it did seem near the end that it was right on time. She was very open with me and our visits as the time came closer, and I would love to share with you that comfort that she knew it was coming and she was ready, as hard as it is for us. So it's our job to hold her in our hearts and to send her love for the journey that she may have yet. We're not sure how that works. There is no knowing for what Nancy is experiencing now, except that it seems good to hold her in love and to send her onward with love. So as our way to do that, we've prepared a little ritual for today. I'd like to invite you, we'll form a line, and if you want to keep a distance between you and the people ahead of you, that might be a good thing. But on the altar there, we have little candles. I'll light the center candle, and then we can light a candle for Nancy and her loved ones from the main candle, and then stick it in the sand next to it. And Lily, if you could play a little for us while we do that. And even if you didn't know her, you're invited to participate in this for anyone that you are thinking of today. Wouldn't that be just like Nancy to be playing that trick on me? I wasn't sure what that candle was going to do, so I thought we'd extinguish it, but thank you. That looks beautiful. I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer. Let's breathe together. We breathe a conspiring breath and seek together the spirit of life, our shared source in times of need. We reach together for comfort, for nourishment, for reason. Catch us off guard, Spirit, and surprise us with an unexpected and overabundant sense of calm. Catch us off guard with a sudden awareness of what we have perceived as missing for our discernment, that the help that we pray for is not only here, but it's inexhaustible. Catch us off guard, Spirit, with our capacity for a deeper way of breathing, free from disquieted hearts and any sense of dread that is so common in these challenging days. We plead for a sudden and historic turn that we would never expect, and we don't even know how to pray for. A change for the better, a sign of hope, a moment when all living things witness justice and a rescue of the innocent. We are doing all we can, Spirit, and we could use a few good surprises. So step into time and space, Spirit, even for a heartbeat, and let us stand in awe at the power of incredible love and unfolding justice. Amen. We come to this day called by peace and by our deep shared longing for an end to the sadness and oppression that we've experienced and witnessed, Yes, throughout all of our days, but more recently, since the Russian invasion of Ukraine on February 24th. Also, today marks the 2-year anniversary of the day we had to close down our Sunday service because the COVID-19 pandemic was just beginning to unfold. As these days continue to ask so much of us, let us ask much from our days. This important threshold we celebrate next weekend also creates an important framework for us to take stock of who we are and where we are now, with so much behind us and so very much ahead of us. The principles of our faith nudge us to consider who we are and ask ourselves if we are creating the kind of congregation that Stephen Charleston named. Are we doing what we can do right now to be makers of peace in the world? Are we able to describe that glimpse of justice we want to see here to create a spiritual home where all are welcomed? Are we engaging our free and responsible search for truth and meaning with the needs of those who are growing weary with the world, running on empty, or simply can't refuel their spirit anymore? These are important questions that can keep us focused on the honoring of our identity as Unitarian Universalists. Yet, without a strong passion for our own good care of each other and the stewardship of our congregation, our own energies will become spent and our care of the world will be our undoing. So how might we best live into our vision to stay healthy and grounded in times such as these? There are so many programs and prescriptions to help churches that are trying to survive in these tender times when memberships are declining and needs are increasing. Emails arrive almost daily to my email account offering expensive strategies and easy solutions. But those schemes aren't working, and they don't fit our free religion. We don't want to learn new ways to teach a top-down theology that has been harmful and restrictive. We want to offer a liberal faith that doesn't lay down the law, but listens, hears, and validates that spirit of life in each member. We want to offer our principles, not creeds. We want to be rooted and growing. Rooted in our Unitarian Universalist faith and growing into the spiritual community that so many of the unchurched wish they could find in the world right now. A place where all people are respected for who they already are and what they've been through. A church that offers fair treatment to all beings and teaches kindness. A community that yearns to know more about ourselves, one another, and the mysteries of the spirit of life. We want to grow by exploring what we see is just and right in our lives. We want to be a people that acts according to what we believe and hold true. We want our visitors to trust that we insist on creating a fair, peaceful, free world. And we want everyone everywhere to know us as the congregation that values Mother Earth, our home that we share with all living things. With a deep bow of gratitude for our children and their promises that I just borrowed from, we can know in our bones that this truly is who we are. These are the principles that root us, and this is how we will begin to grow. Choosing the theme of rooted and growing for our installation ceremony is a deeply meaningful description of how I, as your newly settled minister, see our community as we step forward into our shared future. We are rooted in our Unitarian Universalist faith, and we are growing into a stronger, closer, healthier congregation. We tend those roots and we nourish our faith as we participate in deepening our knowledge and expanding our education. Our roots become stronger as each of us do, reaching higher to become our best selves, keeping us strong. It brings blessings for the good of the whole. We dig into the rich history of our liberal tradition, and we enhance our own theologies by growing spiritually through education and engagement with our themed ministries, our Sunday worship, and our religious exploration programs. We are so very fortunate to have such wonderful adult RE classes available, and we support our children with programming that gives them roots and wings. But one of the best ways that each of us can deepen our roots and help us grow is to dig into the learning opportunities that we offer and invite friends, neighbors that we know to come for a visit. Let's begin to do that more now that we're meeting in person again. We are rooted and growing. We already are. And the words of Claire Dubois in our centering thought that you'll find in your order of service, whether it's on paper or online, I chose them because when I read them, I said, I know these people. This describes my congregation. I think they describe you perfectly. Standing together, entwined, roots woven into a cradle of love, branches reaching out, always in fullness, always open, embodied, gracious dignity, facing life completely, nothing held back, everything given, rooted and growing. Blessed be, and amen. Let's sing about being rooted and growing as we sing our closing hymn. It's number 301 in our Singing the Living Tradition hymnal. The lyrics will be on the screen. Please sing out as we sing. Yeah, let's sing all five. Touch the earth, reach the sky, number 301. Lily, as I ask you to use our brand new snuffer and extinguish our chalice, let's say together the words that are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And my blessing for you is that I wish that the love which overcomes all separation, heals every heart, and reconciles all things will be in us and with us and flow through us now and always. And may this week ahead of us, as full and exciting as it might be, may it be one of justice, celebration, and love. And it is our work to make it so.